Hello, welcome back. Martin has kindly agreed to give us a little stable tour where we're going to meet a few of his horses and hopefully we might even see a few winners for the season to come. We're going to start off with Boris, as we've been calling him. What can you tell us about this one?
It's Boris the Bold. He's entertaining himself there. We bought him in February, gave him a break, sort of bit of time to recover. Well, I say recover, just a bit of time to relax and grow a bit. He was still a young horse with a bit of improving to do, and now we've slowly been bringing him back, and he's probably about 4 weeks or so away from running. And we think he's been well treated by the handicapper. He's already been placed a couple of times, so I'd like to think off his mark we could pick up a couple of races with him during the winter.
It's just working our way backwards. We've got one that a little bit excited about, I think it's fair to say.
I've got a bit of a soft spot for him. He's a big horse, so I have to ride him every day. He's a bit big and strong.
You have to, of course.
Well, obviously. But he came to us in the summer. We've only had him about 3 months or so, but he's really made a bit of an impact on everyone here, and he's still a big baby. He's only a 3-year-old. He's by Duke of Marmalade, so he's been named Amber Jam.
It's very clever.
One of the owners is called Amber, so it's named after her. They're lovely people, and this horse is quite special to them. He's a bit of a pet, really, and I'm glad that they've trusted us with him, and I'd hope to think that maybe one day he can repay their faith, because although he needs a bit of a trip and he'll need a bit of time, I like him. I think there's plenty to come from this horse, so I'd like to think he'd make a really good stayer for the next few years. He seems that type anyway. Yeah,
and now we'll move on to one that we've already had the chance to meet. We may come out and play or not. This is Special Mix, who we've already had a little chat about, but just go into a bit more about what you expect from him.
Well, Special Mix is our new horse for the Little Princess Racing Syndicate. With Little Princess Racing, we like to offer almost any working man a chance to own a share in the racehorse. The shares start at £300. So it's set up so the real racing fans can get involved. They can own a small share in the horse. They can come down, meet us, see the horse. They get to come racing, meet the jockey in the paddock, and they get to enjoy all the joys of being a racehorse owner without taking a massive risk. And we were lucky. We had a lot of fun with Batgirl, a couple of close calls and that. And if he does anywhere near the same as she's done, I'm sure the owners will have a lot of fun with him. Yeah,
and obviously with Christmas coming up, it'd be an ideal present, wouldn't it?
And funny enough, the very first share we sold in Little Princess Racing was a birthday gift from Colin Ramsby. He bought a gift for his wife, and since a lot of their friends have sort of bought shares as well, and a few people buy them as gifts. We've had a father and son combination buy a share, and it's something for a father and son to get into together. So it's a good way.
Are you saying that because my dad's right there?
I hadn't thought that far ahead. It's just the way it's worked out. But I think a lot of people, it's amazing what people get out of it, and even just coming down the yard and seeing the horses at home, especially when they see the horse early and then they see the horse a month or two down the line, and they say, wow, they've changed so much. And it's nice to see people sort of come down the yard and pay an interest and get more out of it, because funny enough, some of the bigger owners, they live further away, and they you don't see so much of them, and they don't show that same passion as the people that have a share in a horse like Special Mix, and they really they love the thrill of racing. That's what we're all about. Yeah, exactly.
We'll work our way back, and we've already mentioned Batgirl a little bit. We just got a little mention there, and now we're going to meet Batgirl, who's probably my favourite horse at this yard. I loved her last season. What can you tell us about Batgirl and her future plans?
Well, she's off to the paddocks to be a broodmare. She's going to the sales at Tattersalls on the 2nd of December. We bought her with the fact that she wouldn't have much racing left in mind, and we thought in the sale she was good value, and she possibly would have fetched more money last year if she had been in a broodmare sale then. But she was done a great job for us. She got us going with Little Princess Racing. We've had some really good days out with her. I mean, she's run. She's given 110% every time she's run for us, and I hope that she passes that willingness on to her baby. She's got a nice pedigree for a prospective breeder, so I'd like to think she'll do well at the sales, and we'll find a good home for her. And who knows, maybe one day we'll get to have one of her foals.
Let's hope so. That's Batgirl. She's absolutely beautiful. As we work our way behind, we're going to go to another one of yours.
He's Aussie's Dancer. He hasn't been with us very long. He's had one run for us. and he ran well. He missed the break, and then he got stuck out the back, and then when they quickened it, he got left behind again, but he actually finished really strong. So we're going to run him over a much further trip next time, give him more chance to get involved in the race and getting going. And if he handles the 2 miles at Lingfield on the 13th, then there may be, we might give us more options. His owner is also a massive jump racing fan, so there's a chance of him going hurdling. And although he's not the biggest horse, I think if he can hurdle economically, he could just do really well as a staying hurdler. He loves soft ground, and he loves a battle. He just, you know, he loves going out. He leads from the front. He loves it. And, you know, other horses will come to him, and although he hasn't got a gear to quicken, he just never gives up. He never says die. And I said to his owner, I think he's got the heart of a lion, and I think
the kind of horse that you wish to own. Yes,
definitely. You know, another horse I was lucky to be involved with was Rising Cross, and she was a small filly, and you'd look at her, she's very unassuming, but she just never gave up. She finished second in the Oaks. She won the Park Hill at York, and, you know, I think although he probably hasn't got the pedigree that she has, I think he could be a similar horse, and he could, you know, sort of run his races a similar way. They called her a pint-sized filly with a gallon-sized heart, and he reminds me a bit of her, so I'd like to think he could sort of run the same style.
It's an apt name for it. As you can see, the horses behind us, we are going to meet each and every one of them, hopefully. And moving on to the next one, is a bit questionable if she's going to come and say hi, but what can you say about her?
Balti's sister. We've been very lucky with her. Michelle and I bought her at the July sales in 2012, and we had her trained at Terry Clements before we got a licence, and we were lucky she won 4 races for us. And in a way, although we weren't training her, she did get us noticed a bit in Newmarket, and we've gotten, you know, some business through her. And we bought her for 6,500, and she's done everything she possibly could have done for us. We had a bit of trouble with her this year because we gave her a break in the winter, and because she'd had a lot of racing and she'd started to let herself down. We struggled a bit with her to, you know, with soundness, to get her back in training. We had to change from normal shoes to glue-on shoes, and you know, there's been other issues with her, but she's in good form now. But we're kind of running out of time a bit with her, and she's another one. She, you know, like Batgirl, she's done her stint as a racehorse, and she'll make a good broodmare. She's got a really good pedigree. She'd by Tiger Hill, and she had a brother, Baltimore Jack, who was a good horse. And I think, you know, being a nice big scopy filly, I'm confident she will find a good home as a broodmare. And she's been an absolute delight to us. And, you know, if we have one horse that we've had as much luck with as her, we'll be happy. She's just, you know, she's an absolute credit to herself.
Well, your wife has a love affair with this one. Her Twitter name is actually Balti's sister, isn't it?
She is. Balti's sister won. Yes, after she won. She's just been a great horse to us over, you know, the year and a half that we've had her. And again, you know, we'd love to think that maybe one day we could have a yearling out of her in the yard. And
that first job's finding her a nice home.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. And we'll move to one behind who's showing us his backside at the moment.
They're all a bit restful at the moment. He's this lad, he's a 3-year-old by Scorpion. He's only been broken in about 3 months ago now, so we'll sort of steadily work away with him through the winter, and we'll hope to get him racing in a bumper towards the end of the national hunt season. You know, if we could get him out in February and March, I'd be really happy. He comes from good stock, and you know, for the little bit we have done with him at home, he's shown me that he could potentially be quite a nice horse to look forward to in the future. So, you know, although he's a long way off from racing, you know, we're sort of quietly looking forward to seeing him run later on in the season.
As we work back, we're going to go to a grey that we haven't seen at the stable yet. What can you say about this one?
This filly's very dear to me. She's called Invisible Touch. She got brought to us as a 3-year-old. She's been going about 6 months now, and she's about ready for a race. But as you can see, she's very affectionate. She was a friend of ours owns her, and he bred her. He breeds a few horses, and she was orphaned as a foal. He told me the story when he came out one morning, and the mare was lying lifeless on the ground, and she was pawing at her, trying to, you know, get some reaction out of her mum. So she's a bit of a Bambi, and she's very intimate with you, and you know, when you're doing anything with her, she's quite dependent on you. And
she's soft as anything, isn't she?
Oh, she is. But she has to go out with the hood on because she's very sensitive to noises around, and she's easily spooked. So she's a very quirky filly, and we've put a lot of time and effort into getting her this far. But we're really happy with the way she's gone, and I think she's a little bit special to us anyway, and we're really looking forward to seeing what she can do on a racecourse. So.
Yeah, we hope she can after she's run a lovely home here.
Yeah, the owner named her Invisible Touch after the Genesis song, and when you go back,
I wouldn't be old enough to remember that.
Well, I just remember it from my childhood, but when you go back and listen to the song, it describes her 100%. It's like the song was written about her. So it'd be nice to think that someone would make a nice little VT about her at the end of her career and play it to the song. Is that
a nudge?
Maybe a little hint for in a couple of years' time when we come to the end of her racing career. But yeah, she's special to us, whatever she does, really.
Yeah. And then the last horse in this half of the yard visit.
And he's crowd control. So he's the 4-year-old brother to the Scorpion we've got. He's by Oscar, who's as we all know, is a top national hunt stallion. He's done really well. We've had him since March, so he's been doing a fair bit of work. He's still a big heavy horse, so there's a bit left to do with him. I'd like to think if all goes well, we might just see him on the track before Christmas.
Yeah.
And if he's as good as we all hope he is, it'd be nice to think we might be in the Cheltenham final bumper.
Big dreams.
Big dreams, but he's a big horse, and he's shown plenty of ability at home. So it's just it takes a long time to see how far you're going to get, but we'd like to think he'd do well in the bumper. His mum was a good bumper horse, and like I said, we've done a bit of work with him at home, and he's shown all the right credentials so far. Obviously we haven't really put him to the test, and we wouldn't do that until he actually sees a race course, so it's hard, at this stage it's hard to say how good they're going to be, but if they're nice horses and they're doing everything right at home, that's all you can hope for.
Yeah, so some big hopes and dreams on this side of the stable. We're going to pop over to the other half of the stable now, and then we'll meet the rest of the horses at the yard.